Hello, it's Emily and this is going to be some of my favourites that you may not have heard of. So in this video I'm just going to go over a couple of my favourites or some books that I have some nostalgic love for that you may not have heard of before. So I love recommending people books that they haven't heard of. I forgot to mention, but I currently am doing a giveaway on Twitter, so I'll leave the link to my tweet down below, just as a big thank you for reaching 100 subscribers so quickly, and just as a big thank you for everyone's welcome and support to the community. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little giveaway. It's not much, but just as a thank you. So if you are interested in that giveaway, then I will link the tweet down below and don't be afraid to check it out. Thank you. Let's get right into the first one. So the first one I'm going to recommend is the Slated trilogy. This I absolutely adored. It's written by Terry and consists of Slated, Fractured and Shattered, and these are kind of set in the future. So this book is about this girl Kyla whose mind has been wiped. This is because the government are convinced she's a terrorist. By wiping their minds, it gives these teenagers a fresh start and they get adopted into a new home, into a new family to start afresh, and they have a chip in their mind which kind of connects to a thing on their wrist even, and it kind of tracks their emotions. Not tracks, but they're kind of rated on this level, and if they get too angry or too upset, then the thing on their wrist will kind of vibrate, give them a warning, and if they get even more angry or upset, it will knock them out to stop them from doing anything like a crime. However, Kyla isn't convinced that everything is as normal as or as straightforward as the people and authorities are saying. So she goes on this kind of hunt to find out the truth about what's actually going on. I absolutely loved it. I gave each book in the series 5 stars. All the mystery and all the drama builds, and it's such a fun trilogy to read. I really love Terry's writing, so that I love. So the next book that I'm going to recommend is the Repossession trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, but I don't actually have the 3rd book because I didn't know it was a trilogy, which is embarrassing because I rave about this all the time to my friends, and then I found one day that there is actually a 3rd book. This series consists of The Repossession and The Hunting, both by obviously Sam Hawksmoor, and I first read this in 2013, and this copy is absolutely battered and tattered. Like, it's been through a lot. It got wet in my bag at school, it's just old and the cover's peeling, but I love it. I started rereading it last year, but then I stopped, but I'm definitely going to get back into it. This book is about this girl Jeannie who has been locked up in her bedroom by her mother because her mother thinks that she's being possessed by the devil, so she's got, you know, bars on her window and stuff, and Jeannie is hoping for, I think, her boyfriend Ryan to come and rescue her, and I believe he does. Everyone follows this reverend, and no matter what he says, that is absolutely the truth, and he has said that Jeannie is possessed, and so everyone believes that. Also in this book, kids are going missing and Jeannie realises that she's going to be next, so she goes on the run with Ryan and they kind of try to discover what's going on, where these kids are going, and the 2nd book kind of continues it, and it is kind of about them on the run being hunted. I really loved it and gave them all 5 stars, so I really do recommend if kind of thrillery but kind of sci-fi, not sci-fi, there is some kind of sciencey stuff in, not sci-fi like spaceships, but like there is science stuff. I don't know what I'm going on about anymore. I don't really know what genre they fall into. Maybe dystopian, maybe just thriller, I don't know, but I love them. The next kind of series I'm going to recommend is the Contagion or Dark Matter trilogy. This is once again by Terry and I love everything by her, so she was bound to appear on this list again. This is a kind of about a plague and like an epidemic that's spreading throughout England and Scotland, maybe into Wales as well, but definitely Scotland. as that's where it all kind of kicks off. You kind of follow two different people in the first book. Callie is a really young girl who goes missing, and her older brother Kai is trying to hunt for her and actually find out what's going on because he feels like he hasn't got any answers. He then meets Shay, who actually saw her the day she went missing, and they go off on this kind of hunt together to find out the truth. So, however, their kind of hunt for her leads them straight into kind of centre of an epidemic that's kind of raging through the country at the moment. So they kind of faced with the issue of, do we stay safe and avoid the epidemic, this disease that's spreading rapidly, or do we keep hunting for the sister? And it opens up a whole other kind of like more questions and answers, and it's just amazing. It continues into books 2 and 3, which are Deception, which is the second one, and Evolution, which is the third one. I love listening to the audiobooks of these because they follow different people's point of view throughout the whole trilogy, and it's really fun to listen to the different actors act the different parts. I remember this trilogy taking all sorts of twists and turns that I was not expecting, so I really recommend it if this is kind of up your alley. And people may want to read this right now when there's a pandemic. I don't know what else to say. Let's just move on. The next series that I'm going to recommend is the Bad Boys Girl, or the Bad Boys series by Blair Holden. I have the first two here. The third one was published in March, I believe. This started off on Wattpad, and it is right up my alley for a summer read. I'm rereading the first one right now. I'm about 130 pages into this and I love it. I fall in love with the story all the time, and it's just the perfect book to kind of sit down and relax with. This follows Tessa O'Connell, who has some family issues at home, and right at the start of the book, Cole, who was her kind of childhood bully, decides to come back away from where he was studying, I think in military school. He decides to come back to her high school, and it's all about how they kind of come back together and form this friendship and potentially more. There's so much more to this story than what I've just said, and there's so many funny moments where I'm actually laughing out loud, and the romance that kind of blossoms in this is so cute, and I love everything about it, and it carries on into The Bad Boys Heart. The third one in the series that came out recently is called The Bad Boys Forever, and I cannot wait to order that myself. I'm hoping to order it as a little birthday treat, as it's my birthday in June, so I might order it for myself as a little treat. So yeah, I really recommend this if you like kind of rom-com-y chick flick, like fun comical romances. One of my all-time favourite series ever, this one. I absolutely love it. So the fifth book that I'm going to recommend, or book series, is The Boy Who Lost His Sight. This is such an emotional read for me. I first read it when it was on Wattpad, and I cried my way through a lot of it. It's now been published. I bought it as soon as it came out and I absolutely love it. This follows Ellie, who's just moved schools to a completely new area, and she meets this boy Riley. Now Riley lost his sight, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, and everyone's kind of lost friendship with them. They feel that he's pushed them all away, and so he's quite lonely. And Ellie embarks on this mission to kind of get to know Riley and to see why he's pushed everyone away, and it makes me cry so much, especially when Riley talks about things and when he slowly lets Ellie into his life. Riley is probably one of my favourite like book crushes. I fell in love with him when I first read it when I was like 14, and I still love him today. I think I'm going to have to reread this over summer because my heart belongs in this story. It's honestly, I can't recommend it enough. It's such an emotional read and so eye-opening, especially about like blind people. I haven't really read many books featuring blind characters, especially young ones, so I've really found this really eye-opening as well as just an emotional book to read, and I just love it so much. I don't know how much to say I love it. I just do. I love everything on this list. I don't know why I keep saying it. Of course I do. Okay, so this book kind of follows on the Wattpad theme that I have now going, and that is Textrovert by Lindsay Summers. This was originally on Wattpad and oh my goodness, I loved it. It used to be called The Cell Phone Swap on Wattpad, and now, since it's been published, is now called Textrovert. It's the same story. So this follows Keely, and she unfortunately loses her phone at like a fairground carnival place, but picks up an identical phone that turns out to belong to this guy called Talon, and they've ended up accidentally swapping phones, and they only just text each other, they don't know who they are, but it turns out that this guy Talon is actually a kind of egotistical jock who she really can't stand, and they keep having fun messing each other and calling random people on their phones. So even though Keely can't stand Talon, and I think it works the other way around as well, they both begin to figure out that the other person is actually quite funny, and they get to know each other over these texts. And eventually the day comes when they meet to switch over the phone, and it's just a heartwarming story to read, and it's really fun as well. It's kind of the same vibes as The Bad Boys Girl. They're just kind of like rom-com kind of things. I absolutely adore this story, and I'm so glad that I bought it when it was published. And finally, the final book on this list is A Bad Boy Stole My Bra. This is also a Wattpad book that's been published, and oh my goodness, it is so fun to read. So this is about a bad boy who's called Alec, and he moves in next to a girl called Riley, and they have bedroom windows that kind of face each other. She wakes up in the middle of the night when Alec is breaking into her room with loads of guy friends over, and he's been dared to steal one of her bras, and it's all about them getting to know each other while Riley is trying to get her bra back. This is such a fun read, and one of my favourite things about this is Alec's pickup lines. When he has like kind of banter with Riley, he kind of throws pickup lines at her that are incredibly cheesy and awful but make me laugh, and she just like rolls her eyes all the time, and I think I would too if I was in her situation. But yeah, this is such a fun summary read. I read it on holiday really quickly, and I really recommend it if kind of romance is your thing, but this is also just, the whole idea of it is so fun, and I absolutely love it. What can I say? I absolutely love all of these. It's a real mixture of books on this list actually, definitely a mixture. So thank you so much for watching this, and I hope to see you soon with a new video.